Today on the show, we talk about my Harry Potter reading habits as an adolescent, and I needlessly insult the first name of each person that asked a question on this show. You're gonna say it with me this time, right?
Okay.
Yeah, ready? Okay, so 1, 2. Well, hey there! No, you have to say the hey part. Let's try it again. Well, hey there!
Hey there!
Pro Church Nation. Roxanne just wanted to let you know how much she cares about you, how much she's thinking about you,
That's true.
how much she longs for you.
That's a weird way to say it, but
Could have chosen a different adjective. Great to have
I
you
do think
here
you're great.
on Ask Brady, episode number 8.
I think so.
8. I think that the average podcast, I remember seeing this stat a couple years ago, that the average podcast doesn't make it past 10 episodes. And, this is kind of like a video podcast. We publish the audio in the prochurchpodcast.com feed. So we're getting close. So we can't give up now.
No.
We've got to keep going. Got to keep answering questions. We've got to keep providing value to the nation of the Pro Church. Thanks for watching on Facebook, YouTube, in the podcast feed on audio, wherever you're joining us from. The Nucleus demo is live.
Yes.
You can go to youtube.com/prochurchtools, and you can see the demo there. We've already got more than 1,500 churches on the launch list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And we have not even done any actual official launching stuff. So that's pretty exciting. YouTube.com/prochurchtools. In the demo, we show you exactly what Nucleus looks like on mobile, on tablet, on desktop, and we show you what the interface looks like when you click inside to an individual card, what it looks like, what you can build, all the different options that you have, and we show you what the editor looks like. So we show you what your church will see, and we also show you what you, the user, will see when you log in. What's so great about the Nucleus editor, it's what you see is what you get editor, meaning you don't need to know anything about HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, any fancy web language. It's so simple. Our design and development team did a phenomenal job constructing a user interface, a UI, a UX that is incredibly easy for you, the secretary, the pastor, the youth, student, ministry, associate, whatever, anyone in your church can do this. It is that easy to use. So go youtube.com/prochurchtools to see the demo if you haven't already. Also, we've got a big contest going on right now, big giveaway, the $1,000 church website makeover. The $1,000 church website makeover. If you go to prochurchtools.com/win,
Oh, I didn't know you could find it there.
as in all I do is prochurchtools.com/win. You can enter to win the $1,000 church website giveaway makeover. I don't even know what's called. $1,000 church website makeover.
All you need to know is you can win money.
We are announcing the winner on Tuesday, the 28th of March. If you're listening to that on podcast, it got to the point where you're like, did the audio feed just cut out? Did my headphones
they failed.
break?
I'm going to email them now.
Is the car audio speaker broken? And just Brady we call that a pause block. March 28th, Tuesday, March 28th is the last day to enter. We'll announce the winner the next day, the 29th.
Oh, so that's next week.
Yeah, it's only a week long. The contest is running. So you got to get in on it. 6 different ways to enter, and each different way to enter counts as its own individual entry. So you can enter up to 6 times and maximize your chances of winning. What do you win? $1,000 cash money towards your church's website, and a 1-hour one-on-one private coaching call with me, Brady, where we're going to talk about your website, what we can improve on it, how we can use that $1,000 to take it to the next level, what I would do, how to construct it, all that great stuff. 1-hour coaching with me. Over Skype, over phone, whatever you want. You don't want to do Skype, we can do something else. So those are big things happening. Get involved in both. prochurchtools.com/win, as in all I do is to enter the $1,000 church website makeover. youtube.com/prochurchtools to see the Nucleus demo. Question number 1.
Question number 1 comes from Josh.
Josh asks, "Hey Brady, so my church has a person in the communications position who isn't creative whatsoever. Everything they do gets the point across, but in a bland, literally black and white way. I would love to get into the position, but I don't know how to due to them not having plans to leave the position anytime soon. What do you think I should do?"
Before I answer this question, I do want to make note that I'm not drinking Canada Dry Club Soda today. We're drinking Compliments, which is the grocery store generic brand. So if you're wondering what is Brady drinking, it's still club soda, but the Canada Dry just wasn't available.
It was not available. Also, this matches your shirt much better.
Yeah, the other one's like a light blue. This is more like closer to a navy blue. It's kind of a royal blue.
Yeah, I would say royal blue.
Royal blue. Okay, so let's talk first about the interesting nuances of working at a church. That being that when you work at a church, you are hired not only to do your job and what you are qualified to do. To use an example, let's talk about a worship pastor. If you're a worship pastor, you get hired at your church to lead worship. Likely you have some type of training, maybe a degree, maybe some type of formal education or informal education in that area. Now you've got some proficiency in worship leading. Not only are you required to do that, but you are also required to be a leader. Now, it was actually in the title worship leader there, but do not get confused. Just because you are proficient in leading worship from stage and playing guitar and singing does not mean that you are proficient in being a leader, leading a team of people, making it so that not everything relies on you, and that when you're away, the team still goes quickly, runs smoothly, goes quickly. Singing songs really
Moves
fast.
quickly.
God is the lion, mighty Judah, roaring in power. No, it doesn't need to go quickly. Still runs smoothly. You're leading people in such a way that they are becoming better at their musical skills, and they're improving. Leading in such a way that people are being empowered to run in their own lane. Leading in such a way so that your team is working and operating in harmony. You're moving forward to accomplish a vision. Leadership comes down to, here's what we're trying to accomplish. Here's how we're going to get there. Psych, as a church, you're also required when you're working there to do a third thing, which is random crap that you were not hired to do. You know how many worship pastors are in charge of media and video announcements and sermon bumpers and Facebook and the snappy chats and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
So when you're working in a church, you got to be good at what you should be good at. You've got to become and be an awesome leader, and you've also got to do random crap. Let's remove the random crap variable from the equation. Let's just remove the crap. The crap is gone.
Probably was a good idea.
Crap is removed. Let's talk just about those first two things that you need to have. It's one thing to be a good, musician. It's one thing to be a good songwriter, good singer, good worship leader from stage. The problem is that you also need to be a leader of people. And this is what, who's this from?
Josh.
Josh. This is what Josh is getting at. What he has probably in this instance is he has someone who's a good, let's imagine they're a good leader and they're good at, executing a vision. They're good at rallying the troops, but they are not so proficient at the actual communication side. And in church, you'll usually see, you'll always see people that are employed, people that work at a church that are in one of or two of these kind of like swaps. Either someone's good at their job and bad at leading, or they're good at leading and bad at their job. And bad at their job meaning they're not as proficient in those skills. We see it all the time. And this is like what makes working at a church so difficult. And remember, we already removed the random crap variable from the equation. That is still there. Just because we removed it, it's coming back. So when it comes to, usurping someone's authority, and that's really difficult and nuanced, and it comes to each individual situation. But what you can do is when someone is lacking in a certain area, what you can do is complement what they lack. Because, maybe Josh is really proficient when it comes to communications and design and social or whatever this other individual is not great at. Maybe he's not the greatest leader. Maybe he doesn't have a ton of experience having a vision and executing it and rallying the troops and figuring out ways to maximize people's potential and play up their strengths while minimizing their weaknesses and putting people in the right roles to succeed and all that, right? And so what he should do is come alongside and complement. It's tough to like just like take over someone's job. Like that's not like something that we would want to encourage or.
No.
Is that what Josh is getting at? He just wants to remove this person and insert himself into the role?
I don't know that he's that.
Cutthroat?
cutthroat about it.
I think he is.
I think he's like, this person isn't great at this role and I think I would do better, so I wish they would have chosen me.
Well, I mean, then the other thing is then you just need to demonstrate how much better you are at it.
Yeah.
And one thing you can, and church hiring and firing is not something I have too much experience with firsthand, a lot of secondhand experience. But so I don't want to just pretend that I know so much about this. There's one thing that you can do is you can demonstrate how skilled you are and then create a role for yourself where you are, you're so important that they need to have you. You're irreplaceable. So you can do that. That's what I like to do, make myself irreplaceable. That's the best thing you can do. Do such great work, be such a value to the church that you are irreplaceable. Because that's really, all you can do is demonstrate how awesome you are. The one thing the analogy that I like to use is like, with Pro Church Tools, we want to do amazing things. We want to do such amazing things that we want to have the tallest building on the skyline. This is the Gary Vaynerchuk analogy. Tallest building on the skyline.
Not
We want to
literally.
build the biggest building, right? 2 ways to build the biggest building. You can destroy everyone else's building and then be like, well, ours is the biggest. We crushed all the others. Or you can just build the biggest building.
Right.
Right? And so that's really what it comes down to. You can just make yourself irreplaceable at church, demonstrate how awesome you are as an individual, or you can cut others down. Always do the first.
Yeah, and usually like helping people in life is way more beneficial. Like they'll appreciate you way better as a person than if you like are play dirty. Like and people don't want you on their team.
Absolutely. One thing I will say, you demonstrate how valuable and skilled you are simply by being next to this person in ministry. You're going to be demonstrating every day just how much better than them you are. You don't even have to do anything. It's just like you put someone really tall next to me. You don't have to know that I'm short. It's just very clear from the comparison.
That's true.
You put someone who's tanned next to me. It is very clear that I am pasty. Don't zoom that camera in on me right now. It is March. It is the very end of the depths of winter. Goodness, cover myself up. I'll be tanned once again. All right, let's move on.
Okay. Question 2 comes from Dave.
Dave says, 2 questions for video announcements. 1, should the opening and closing scripts be the same each week or change them up? 2, should we change the background music every week or keep it the same for a while?
Always important to remember, by the time you are super, super bored of a song that you've sang at church, what a beautiful name it is, I'm already over it. Sorry. What a beautiful name. I'm done with you. I've heard it a billion times. Never really liked the song to begin with, but I'm already over it. By the time that you are super bored with the song, your church is just beginning to kind of recognize the melody of the chorus.
Although that one is very repetitive, so they probably know it.
Why are you the way that you are?
I hate repetitive songs. They're the worst.
Doesn't it say that in the Bible? Don't go and say the same, stop those endless
All I
chants
know
that
is
never ends.
I always get frustrated by Let It Rain or one of those songs that literally continue forever because I get repeated the chorus twice and then I'm like, God heard me. I'm out of here.
Wow.
It's over.
Fire, fall down.
No.
Fire, fall down. Fire, fall down.
God heard you the first time.
God's like, I sent that fire.
You're already on fire. Stop singing.
You're already on fire. Okay, point being, it is very, very much okay to repeat yourself over and over again, especially when it comes to the intro. So the way I do announcements at church is I say the exact same thing in the intro every single week. So the way we do announcements is that we do announcements, kind of do an intro right before service begins, and then we do our announcements in between worship and the message. That's how we do it right now. We like to mix it up when it comes to placement. We don't really mix it up with what I say though. So we have a countdown, 5-minute countdown at church. When it comes to 2 minutes, I walk out on stage and I basically verbatim, and I know it verbatim because I say it so often, say this. Well, hey there, it's great to have you here at Central today. My name's Brady. I'm your host. We're going to get things kicked off here in just a moment with the bands coming out to lead us in a few songs. And then one of our pastors is going to be out to share a great message. All in all, we'll be here for just about an hour. If you're new with us, we're so glad you're here. We're thrilled to have you. Find your seat. You're welcome. This is a safe place. If you've got kids with you, we also want to let you know that we've got fantastic kids programming that's happening this morning. It's safe, it's secure. Most importantly, your kids are gonna have a lot of fun. You can head to the big orange wall in the lobby to check your kids in there. You've still got time. Finally, if you're joining us online, wherever you're joining us from, we're so thrilled to have you here as well. Like I said, we're gonna get things kicked off here in just a moment, so find your seats. Service begins in about 1 minute. I say that every single week. You know why? Because firstly, people don't come to church every week. I know that because some of the people that worked on this building did some of the actual construction, did some of our data wiring. They go to Central. And they always say, oh, I watched online this week, saw you. Oh, like, people didn't even know that I hosted. I was like, I host every other week. They're like, oh, I guess I haven't been to church in 4 months. You know, like, people aren't there every week that exist in your congregation already. Not to mention all the new people that are coming every single week. It's always somebody's first time at church. Hopefully it is anyway. And so, you know, if nothing else, you're doing it for them. And so definitely repeat yourself with the intro. I also do the same conclusions. And when it comes to video announcements, we're always repeating the same intro and outro. Now, second part of Dan?
Dave.
Dave! Oh, it felt wrong, but it felt close.
You were doing so well for the first 6 episodes.
Really?
Well,
I thought I was
first
doing
5 episodes.
Oh wow. Okay, I did not think I was doing well at all. So Danny boy over here. I mean Dave. Second part of Dave's question. Same music. We like to change up the music, let's say every quarter.
Right.
But I do think there's value in creating a defined look and brand for a set period of time and sticking with it. So we'll do the same backing track for 3 months. We'll do the same backing track for the next 3 months. We'll mix it up. Doesn't need to be forever, but I do think keeping it consistent for a set period of time does have value.
Yeah. Also, I just want to add that I think it's cool that Central does theirs so that you come up at 2 minutes too. Because so many people are we get that question often is how do you get people to come in from the foyer? And having that intro is almost like a trigger of oh, it's starting soon.
Service is starting. Psych, it's just me, Brady.
Just kidding. It's just this guy saying the same thing every week.
Oh, kids, orange wall. Heard it before.
Anyways, question 3 comes from Adam. And
question 3
might be our favorite.
The third question might be my favorite. Inside office joke.
So question 3 comes from Adam.
Adam says, Brady, loved your episode on Facebook advertising. Question, do you think you can have too broad of a targeted audience with ads?
You absolutely can have too broad of a target audience with ads. So when we do ads, we aim for an audience of about 2 million. Now, the reason for that is because we are a global company online, we don't have any geographic restrictions. Let's talk about your church's local advertising. You definitely can be too broad. Most importantly, you can be too broad with your actual geographic targeting. So because you're restricted to a certain location, and even if you're multiple campuses, still somewhat of a certain location, what you're going to probably want to do is set up your Facebook targeting to be all adults ages 18 to 65 plus in X mile radius of your church. And you can kind of test and determine that X mile radius depending on how concentrated your actual community is. So if you're, deep in the rural of, Montana or something, your geographic radius is going to have to be bigger than, if you're in Harlem or any city for that matter.
Right.
The density of your community will determine how wide and broad that geographic reach is. But I was just having a conversation yesterday with my mom, and my mom's saying, I really like to get to church more, but there just isn't really one close to us that I love. And I was like, well, Mom, I know you love my church. Why don't you come? She's like, it's a 30-minute drive.
Truth. That's why I don't go anymore, because they shut down the campus here. And I'm 15 minutes to church. I don't even know those people. I don't even go there. That's not where I live. So I switched. Well, I didn't switch. My church closed, so I went to a different church.
Yeah, and all because of geographic location. Yeah. And so that's actually a big factor for how people determine coming to church. And so, you absolutely can be too broad. With your church and your local Facebook advertising, you're never going to be too broad unless you live in a hugely dense city, like let's say Manhattan, LA, one of the big 10 cities in America. You're never going to be too broad with people based on anything other than with people. You're never going to have too many people in your audience. Meaning we keep our audiences to 2 million or less. You go beyond that and you're going too broad. You're never going to have that problem unless you live in Manhattan, where your geographic location of let's say 10-mile radius would be 8 million or something. The only way you're going to get too broad with your Facebook advertising is distance. So again, now, if you live in a rural area and people are used to driving 15 minutes just to the grocery store, you're going to have a much broader mile radius of advertising because, that's just kind of expected.
Yeah.
You live in a dense location where people are like, well, I drive, 5 minutes everywhere, and things are different. You live in like a big city, people are like, I don't even have a car. Yeah, again, it's different. So you can't be too broad, not with numbers of people, almost always only with geographic distance.
Right. All right, so the fourth question is from Derek.
Derek says, our problem isn't announcement as much as it is tithe. When we make announcements after the first song or in the beginning of service, we miss out on people tithing. What's a good way to take up tithes without disrupting the flow of service?
Well, let's use Central as another example for how we do this. The way I'm the one that's facilitating the giving portion of church. And so, first of all, here's exactly what I say. So I walk out on stage. This is after the worship now, before the message. So we're in the middle of service. I'll come out, transition from worship, however that is, or sometimes the worship leader will transition and I'll just walk out and start my little spiel, and I'll be like, well, welcome to Central. I'm Brady. Great to have you, blah, blah, blah. I'll do the Connect card. I'll do the new guest welcome. I'll say hello to everyone online, and then I'll go into giving. So I'll be like, at this time, we're going to give together as a Central family. If you're new here, don't feel any obligation to give whatsoever. Your presence here is gift enough. If you did come prepared to give, and I just want to make note, like that's a great line. Steal that line. If you did come prepared to give, just so amazing. Like when we're talking about giving, and I know this isn't about announcement scripts, but it is about avoiding the awkwardness and making the giving part good. Giving, I use the same script basically every week that I've written because I know that it sounds great and it puts people at ease. We also have a giving card in the seat back in front of us that says like a seat back in front of our people sitting in the seats, which is why do we give here at Central? Because people have this stigma attached with giving to churches, which they shouldn't, because people don't have a stigma attached when they pay for, a plum. They're like, I paid $1 for this plum and I got the value back. Yeah. But the thing is, with church, you can't do that. We require and exist off of goodwill donations. The problem is when we guilt people into that. Now, that's something I'm not about. I'm not about going up and giving like an offering message, which some denominations that I have been a part of in the past, even if just it was like being a part of them like tangentially,
What the heck?
Tangentially.
Maybe you should use a different word because nobody knows what you're talking
That
about.
word would have been fire if I could have dropped it, but I messed it up. Anyway, I'm not about using guilt for giving. So I say if you've come prepared to give, there are a variety of different ways that you can do that. We're going to pass the baskets down the row in just a moment. You can also give at Central Connect via debit or credit. You can give online, centralcc.ca/give. You can also give via text, which is our new thing. And I think adding that fourth way of giving is because, it's a bit much, but they're really pushing the text to give. So 4 calls to action with giving. I'm not a huge fan of that part, but there's only so much that I can do and I'm in charge of. So and that's what we do. And then here's what happens. I say, I'm going to invite the hosts forward together. I'm going to invite the hosts forward this morning as we give. And as we give, and then I go into announcements. And so instead of like waiting for like the baskets to be passed down the row and it's all awkward, I'm doing announcements as we give. And so what this does is it doesn't waste any time in service, and it allows people to give without like feeling like, oh, everybody's watching what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Am I going to pass the baskets? The great thing is now, like, you can pass the basket and be like, look, who gives with a basket anymore? Like, there's like less of like,
That's my thing though, because I always give online, and then when they do make like a long pause for giving, I just want to be like, or like when you're the only person in a row and the usher like looks at you with the basket, and you're like, I already gave, man. Gosh. Like
being an usher is so hard. Like the whole thing, like when you're sitting in a pew and you're looking forward during giving, and the usher's like, do I pass the basket to them? They're kind of giving me the cold shoulder, and then it's their decision, like, do I just kind of move on to the next row and completely omit this one? Or do I kind of force the issue? Being an usher is hard. It's all about human behavior and recognizing the cues and reacting.
Yeah, I remember I volunteer for a youth conference every year. And so part of that is they take up an offering for like a charity that does water, whatever.
Charity water.
It isn't charity water. It's a different one.
There are other charities that give water?
Apparently.
Oh, good for them.
Gosh. And
The way you said it though, to this charity that gives water. Charity water? No.
not that one. I support Charity Water, but they support a different one, I think.
And you don't support it. You hate the other water.
You know what? I
organization.
love everyone who gives people water. I think that's a good cause.
No, you only love charity water.
I love Charity Water the most, let's be honest.
If charity water gave you a job, you'd leave right now.
I'd be out of here so fast. Like, see you later. I'm moving to New York.
Pro Church who? Charity Water. Manhattan living. # real life.
Yes. So anyways, I remember we always get like a half-hour lecture on how to take up offering because every year we screw it up. Somebody's in the wrong section or missed 8 rows or you both passed baskets down the same aisle. Like, it's ridiculous. We fail offering every single year.
Key here is combining offering with another element of service.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to reduce time waste and to remove any awkwardness and to keep things streamlined. You still get to focus on it without really spending time on it.
Right.
So that's the way we do it. I lead with that little script. It takes about 30 to 60 seconds. And then as we give, I'm into the announcements, combining the two for an experience that allows for people to feel comfortable. They don't feel pressured. They know, okay, I can give in these variety of different ways. I can give right now, I can give later. And it allows for us to actually still put an emphasis on it, right? Because it's easy, I've been in churches before where they don't even mention it. The giving happens at the back, and if you want to give, great, but we're not gonna bring it up because we don't want you to feel awkward. Problem is then,
You don't know how to give?
yeah, and then nobody gives at all. And this is why we always talk, we did a video on YouTube the other day, which is why it's so important to be subscribed to us on YouTube. It was talking about like the two necessities of marketing, and this applies to any type of really communications, not just marketing. That is branding and direct response. Direct response being the type of communication that asks for a commitment, right? This is the monster truck rally that comes through town. Sunday, 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 be there. They need to get you to buy a ticket and show up. They've got one job to get you to buy that ticket and make that commitment. The other side is the branding side, which is the Nike ad where they don't ever show you a shoe and say, buy this shoe. All you see is like an obscured shoe, but someone's just sweating and working out really hard, the Nike logo. And you're like, what was that about? I don't know, but maybe now I'll buy Nike. So one is very short term, one is very long term. You need both. You do only one or the other, and you're in trouble. So that the church that keeps the offering basket in the back and never mentions it, that's probably too much on the one side. They're just hoping that you love and feel so loyal to the church that you're going to give without too much prompting. But then the church that does the offering message every single service that is like half the length, if not equal length to the actual message, and it's all pressure and guilt and like sales tactics, that's also bad. You need both, but not only one or the other. It's like Voldemort and Harry Potter. One cannot exist without the other.
Whoa, Harry Potter.
The amount of times I drop that Harry Potter analogy is like,
Did you even watch the Harry Potter movie?
of course.
Okay, just didn't seem like something you would like.
I read every single one of the books. Loved them as a kid. True story, 7th book was released. What's the 7th one called, Joe?
Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows. Gets released, shows up to my house. No, here's the backstory.
I love all of the Harry Potters. I watched them all. I got the 7th book shipped to my house. What's it called again? I don't remember.
But the 7th one was released like 18 years ago. How am I supposed to remember? I'm not watching them like daily. I'm not watching like the Harry Potter sitcom. Oh, Ron and Hermione, are they gonna make it? We don't know. Oh, they were on a break. I'm not watching that. Okay, here's what happened. My mom was a librarian. Harry Potter books were like my favorite books. So she would get the books and then use the crazy library like tools in the back that nobody else could get to like laminate the actual covers and like put on these sweet book jackets to make, because I was very meticulous as a child, a little OCD, where I was like, don't get anything on the book. Oh my gosh, a drop of oil on the cover. It's ruined. I can never read it. Don't crease the bind. Don't crease the bind.
But he's not like that anymore.
But I'm not a rapper. And so like the 7th one comes out, and there's 7 books, and like how many years are there in between each one? At least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, 4. I can see that happening. 5, that's a real possibility. 6.
I see that happening, yes. 8 months. That's a realistic timeline.
Okay, man, we are all over the place today.
I know, I'm
It's because I
sorry.
haven't had any lunch. I haven't eaten. All I've had today is coffee, and so it's just like,
And I started taking protein powder, so I feel
wow, you're like, Roxanne's like, I'm gonna turn this mic right off of me. Anyway, 7th book comes out. I'm like 15 or 16 years old. I'm not as much into Harry Potter anymore. I'm into cute girls at youth group and drumming a lot.
That's true.
7th book comes out. I'm like, This is the final chapter, the close of the Harry Potter saga. We'll figure out how it all ends. Dumbledore, I combined Voldemort and Dumbledore. Dumbledore's dead. Oh my gosh. What's gonna happen? Is he actually dead? What about Hagrid, Hermione, and Ron? Good versus evil? How's it all gonna end? Didn't care, never read it.
That explains why. He
Never
didn't know
read the
title.
7th book. Because I was too old. I'd outgrown it.
I
What-
read all of them last year and had never read them before.
Yeah, but I understand that, but like this was teenage years.
Okay.
Anyway, never found out how it ended until I saw the movie like 10 years after. So that's the story about Harry Potter. What's all the questions though, right?
Yeah.
People turned this off. They were like, this,
Like, we don't
we heard
care.
the answers to the questions. We don't need to hear this Harry Potter stuff. Thanks for asking questions, Pro Church Nation. Hashtag Ask Brady, Instagram and Twitter. Hashtag Ask Brady in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. New episode every single Friday. We're gonna go past 10 episodes. I don't even care what they say. I don't care what the stats say. Don't care what the haters say. Don't care what the trolls say. I don't care what Josh, Dave, Derek. Couldn't remember the fourth person. Who was it?
I don't know. I turned off my computer.
Well, we have to give them a shout out. Now I feel bad. Josh, Derek, and Dave all got shout outs.
Let's see who it is. Adam.
Adam, Josh, Derek, Dave, and Adam. If those aren't some like basic boy names, I don't know what is.
Also, we just need more girls to send in questions.
Well, that's true. That's true. Thanks for asking questions, Pro Church Nation. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Not next Tuesday. Oh, next Friday. Oh my gosh. This is the worst episode of Ask Brady ever. And I
Hashtag
blame you
failing.
and your protein powder. Oh my gosh. Just turn it off. It's done. End it. Finish it. It's over.